Sometimes we may see batteries or cells wired in series, and at other times they may be wired in parallel. In this video we'll show you why batteries or cells are sometimes wired in parallel, and then at other times they're wired in series. We'll show you what can be gained from these two scenarios, and some of the points to watch out for, and whether you should connect cells in series or parallel for what you want to do. Individual cells are the basic element that creates electricity from a chemical reaction. They can be either primary cells, which cannot be recharged, or secondary ones that can be recharged. Strictly speaking, a cell is the single element, and a battery consists of two or more cells wired together, either in parallel or, more usually, in series. The reason for combining cells is that a single cell might not provide what is required for an electrical or electronic circuit. It may not be able to provide enough current or voltage or both. By combining a number of cells together, we can make a battery that provides the required output. However, the first thing to note is that different types of cell have different output voltages. First, let's look at some of the primary cells, in other words, the ones which can't be recharged. Zinc-carbon cells used to be the most common, and these ones give out 1.5 volts. So do the alkaline manganese cells. These are the ones that we often see as being advertised to last much longer. Another form of cell is called a silver oxide one, and it also gives out 1.5 volts. And there's lithium metal and other types which we mustn't forget. Looking at the secondary or rechargeable cells, there's far more variation in the output voltage. The old nickel-cadmium cells, which cannot be used now, were about 1.25 volts per cell, and the newer nickel-metal hydride cells are about 1.1 volts. However, the lithium-ion cells used in many items from mobile phones to electric tools and now electric cars have a number of variations in their technology and may have output voltages ranging anywhere between about 3.3 and 3.7 volts. Although with new technologies arriving to the market all the time and some variability between manufacturers and their methods, we can only give rough figures for them. So let's take a look at the cells connected in series and parallel to see the benefits of connecting them in these different ways. First, let's take a look at connecting cells in series. In this instance, the voltages of each cell build on top of each other as we see here. So if each cell is 1.5 volts, placing 3 cells in series stacks the voltages on top of each other to give 3 times 1.5 volts, which is 4.5 volts. And if we had 6 of these cells connected in series, this would give a 9-volt battery. And you can see here, from looking at the inside of this 9-volt battery, that it's made up from separate cells in series. When we connect cells in series, we don't increase the overall charge capacity of the battery. As each cell needs to pass the same current, the overall battery won't be able to last any longer because each cell needs to provide the same current, and the current is what uses the charge available. This means that if each cell had a charge capacity of 2,500 mAh, then the whole battery would only be able to provide 2.5 amps for an hour, and so forth. The normal equation for relating charge capacity, current, and time holds for this. In other words, the battery life in hours is equal to the charge capacity in milliamp hours divided by the current in milliamps. The point to watch is that if one cell has more charge than another, then it will try to pump current through the other cells even when they're exhausted, and this will reverse charge them. Also, the output voltage will fall and the current will be limited by the exhausted cells. So never put new and old cells together in a battery. This can also be a problem with rechargeable cells, as they do not like being reverse charged, and this can degrade the lifespan of the cell. Now let's look at what happens if we place cells in parallel. As the connections are made in parallel, the voltage across the whole battery is only that of the cells themselves. So if several alkaline cells were placed in parallel, the overall voltage will be that of the single cell, which is 1.5 volts. However, the advantage of having cells in parallel is that the amount of charge available is the sum of the individual cells. So if each cell had a charge capacity of 2,500 mAh, and if 3 cells were placed in parallel, the overall charge available would be 7,500 mAh. In other words, the overall battery would last 3 times as long for the same level of current. The point to watch is that all the cells must be the same type, having the same output voltage. So you shouldn't place, for example, a nickel metal hydride rechargeable cell with an output voltage of 1.1 volts in parallel with a lithium-ion cell having an output of about 3.3 volts. So to recap, if we connect cells in series to form a battery, the voltage is increased as the voltage from each cell is added together, but we can only supply the same amount of charge as that of the single cell. If we connect cells in parallel, we form a battery that has the same output voltage as that of the single cell, but the total charge is that of the sum of all the individual cells. In other words, it'll last longer than a single cell when it delivers the same amount of current. For more information, please check out the description section where there's more information and some useful links, and we'd be delighted if you would subscribe to the channel and like the video. Thank you.